Hey. So I have been feeling this coming through me for a while and just really wanted to create a very simple training on nutrition. And it really has everything to do with the alchemy of food. And it just can open up and expand your definition and your relationship with how you eat. And it gets to be so freaking simple, so easy. And once you have these understandings, it will literally guide you through the rest of your life. Your relationship with food will never look the same because this is not about an external strategy, diet, meal plan. It's just being in total alignment with what your body is requiring for nourishment, and that gets to change. And you simply get to be in flow with it. So food and the alchemy of food is really being in rhythm with something very primal and something so much greater than your mental, your ego mind can understand. It's not for the mind to figure out. Eating is like sex. It is not the mind. It is beyond. It is primal. It is how we survive, thrive, and procreate. And it just, in our society, it's become this massive industry, and it's been so confusing, and we're inundated with shoulds and shouldn'ts and comparison game. And a lot of our nutrition is based in thinking we have to look a certain way in order to feel good about ourselves. And it's really feeling so good about yourself that of course you're going to listen to your body and nourish yourself accordingly. So again, this has nothing to do with the ego mind at all. It's the alchemy of food is really pure pleasure, pure enjoyment, pure support, pure nourishment, pure love. And how do you get out of your head and out of your own way to experience and embody that? So that's the alchemy of food. I'm going to offer some supplemental materials here, but I'm just going to run through some simple explanations. And again, this gets to be really freaking simple. We're going to take all the madness out of this, the diet plans and what I should and shouldn't do. And it's simply this: nourishing your soul, not your body and not your mind, but it's actually nourishing your soul and your connection to each and everything you put in your body gets to be delicious and luscious and unbelievably pleasurable. Because when we have a relationship with food that is primal and pleasurable, we're actually imprinting ourselves with light. What that means on a physiological level is opening up the cells, receptor sites. Each cell has receptor sites to receive nutrients, and we're expanding those, and we are trusting in the capability of the cells, the wisdom that each cell holds to be able to pull in the nutrients that it requires specifically for your body, your dosha, your body type, your constitution, and excrete what is not needed. So get out of your own way. This isn't a head game. This is just, can you surrender and fully trust that your body absolutely knows exactly what to do? You literally now relieve yourself of that pressure. So the way you bring your mental state into this is just simply to be in a state of rest, relax, receive the pleasure, receive the joy. That's it. And before your eating experience, you direct your cells toward this. So in the supplemental materials, I'm giving you a food ritual. And that's the only meal plan you'll ever need ever again. And all you ever have to do is quiet your mind and allow your body to talk with food. When you do, you'll always know. And it's a practice. It's a practice. So it's not something that, you're used to yet. That's fine. But when you practice this, you will reach a state where you will always know exactly how much to eat, when to eat, and what to eat. And none of it is ever wrong. And when you go into the judgment, oh, I shouldn't eat this. Oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. Oh, I had too much. Oh, I should. Or you go into The anxiety, oh my God, what am I going to eat 6 hours from now? What am I going to eat tomorrow? Well, how do you know what your body is going to require 6 hours from now? So meal planning is kind of a funny thing. Now, of course, you want to be prepared overall by knowing that you have quality nutrients available to you, because you anticipate that, of course, you're going to fuel your body with the highest quality nutrients to support your worthiness. But it's a moment to moment game. So, 6 hours from now, you may not necessarily need or require what you're needing right now in this minute. So it's just tuning in and understanding, what do I require right now? And that's the same thing with food timing. The ebb and flow of the day, there are times of day where you may, habitually feel hungrier, but it's also dependent on how much energy you expended so far today, how much sleep you got, what the weather is like, what you ate at the previous meal. So it becomes very rhythmic, very intuitive, and it's a trust-based relationship. And when you step into that place, you unleash the alchemy, the magic of food and your body, and the chemistry, the interplay, the beautiful chemical exchange that takes place. So all you ever have to do is just quiet your mind and allow your body to step in and take over, and understand that the ancient wisdom is encoded in your cells and in your DNA and in your epigenetics, which is a whole other training we can get into. There's no struggle here. Let it go. There's no force. Let it go. This is a relationship between the structures of food and your cells. It is about energy. That is it. No other story. So let all the other stories go. Release your mind from the burden of trying to figure all this stuff out. Okay? Offer it up. Offer it up to the divine, because it's not for you to figure out. Okay? The universe will dictate this for you. And I get into this as well, and that determines, eating regionally, eating seasonally. These are all things that make this so freaking easy. So, your ritual for the deepest love affair with food, which is what it gets to be. There are a few things you want to do throughout the day. Throughout the day, you're simply asking these questions. Throughout the day, what would really nourish me right now? Again, this is minute to minute. Another thing, throughout the day, what taste is in my mouth right now? The taste that's in your mouth can really tell you so much. So, throughout the day, you're asked, what taste is in my mouth? I feel it's a dryness. And if your mouth feels dry, you're already dehydrated, right? Like, it's not even about thirsty. If you're feeling thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So having water constantly so that you don't ever have that dry mouth taste is again, this is about nourishment. You don't want your body to be in dehydration. And the biggest symptom of dehydration is dry mouth. Thirsty. So you're already in that state. You're out of your equilibrium. If you're noticing like a little bit of a bitterness in your mouth, like a bitterness, and you experience that throughout the day, that's definitely a sign that you're craving specific nutrients, or you're requiring specific nutrients. Same thing if you taste, if it's like a little acidic or a little sour. If you're tasting the kind of that, if you have acid stomach, acidity again is a symptom that things are out of equilibrium. If your body is acidic, it's not able to process nutrients. There's something blocking. So there are customized things that we can do. So it's really throughout the day asking these questions and making a note. Oh, I noticed that throughout the day I have this bitterness, or after 5 o'clock I have like an acid taste in my mouth. Write it down. Do this for 3 days. Write down the taste that you have in your mouth. And then it'll be an ongoing practice. So you can kind of always gauge, but we'll customize that together. It means different things for different people. notice throughout the day what is calling your soul forward in terms of nutrition. Like, let's say you go into a coffee shop and you're just like energetically charged by like this like egg bagel sandwich, but your mental is like, I shouldn't have that, and carbs are bad, and bagels are horrible, and you're telling yourself all these things, but for some reason your soul is energetically charged with it. Get curious about these attractions you have to food. Write it down. What would serve my vessel in the highest vibrational light? Now, this is an ongoing question. The other questions, what is the taste of my mouth? What is my soul being called toward? You can do that as an experiment for a couple of days, and you can also do it ongoing. But for a couple of days, write that down, and we can customize what's going on, what we can bring back into equilibrium. But ongoing is the practice of what would serve my vessel in the highest vibrational light. It's a moment-to-moment experience. Okay, it's no planning, right? It's just in this moment. Maybe it's like, I require no food at all. I require cleansing and purification. I require coming back to my breath. My soul is being called forth, and to be in the highest vibrational light, I require an orange. I require champagne. It's just tuning in and really listening to that. Then before your meal, and again, I'll just run through this quickly, but it'll be in the supplemental materials. It's a celebration. So even if it's literally 30 seconds, it's not about changing everything in your life to fit around food. You could be in your car. You could be in your car and you could have a wild, torrid love affair with the meal that you're about to eat. And I practice this carpooling with my daughter to soccer at 6 o'clock in the evening, and I know that I'm going to eat dinner in the car waiting for her, or in the car, right before I pick her up, or just grabbing, a little table somewhere and eating. But it's still, it's offering an intention. So just getting into that space, that clarity, that just clean, clear energy, and just I'm offering my mind. I'm offering my mind, my body, and my soul to the ancient wisdom of this bounty. I am appreciative of the food I have in front of me. I now direct every cell of my body to absorb the nutrients and be imprinted with the light that these nutrients have. I offer my deepest appreciation for every morsel. I trust you. And just speak to your body. I trust you. I know that you always show up to support me. I love you as my body. Simple. You can do it anywhere. You do it in your head. You do it in the car. You do it in at a meal, entertaining people. You can share that. You can offer it up as something you do as a collective experience. You can do it with your spouse. You can do it with your kids. While you eat, this is the consummation, right? Unleash your sensuality. And there's a difference between sensuality and sensibility. And they're both using your five senses, but sensibility is like, logic, use my judgment. And sensuality is about feeling and expression and using your senses to live a luscious life. And that's what food gets to be. I always offer my clients this. Your experience while you eat, allow the first 2 to 5 minutes to just be in silence and really just connecting in with the food. We tend to eat in a rush, and we specifically, because we're always like on to the next thing, and we never actually sit in appreciation of what is in front of us in the moment. And eating is such a wildly enjoyable experience. And our ability to sit in enjoyment of that, again, creates long-lasting health. And if you're wanting to shed weight, this is key. If you're wanting to create a more rockin' body of health, this is probably the most fundamental thing, is slowing down, taking a pause and a sigh with each bite in silence, just to acknowledge each of your five senses connecting to the energetic field, like the fuel that you're receiving right now. So you literally go through each of your five senses, right? Sight, notice something beautiful about the food itself. Smell, inhale deeply the fragrances. If you're doing this with a spouse, this is really fun because you guys could just play so many fun food games. And again, I have a whole other training on that, but just, if your spouse made a meal, or you made the meal, you can ask your spouse, smell, and can you smell the different spices that I put into this? Can you guess what spices are in here? And you take a bite. After sitting in silence for a few minutes, you can play this game. Inhale it, really get it into your lungs. Touch, feel its textures, not just if it's not finger food, but if it is, feel the texture of it, but also feel it in your mouth. Feel the chewing, feel the swallowing, feel the sensation, right? Feel it, surrender to it. Taste, cherish it, right? The sustenance that you're receiving with each bite, and just be in flow with how the food itself wants to express itself through your body. This is alchemy. This is aligning yourself. So it doesn't matter if you're drinking champagne or water. It doesn't matter if you're eating a donut or an apple. It's the energetic connection you have and honoring it. All of the senses, sound, listen to it. Listen to the sweetness, the gurgles, the sweetness in your body, the bubbling, the cracking, the crunching. And then lastly, after you eat, it's just being in reverence, right? Be in full presence of this is, a beautiful experience, and you get to be a part of that. That is a daily practice. I'm going to give you supplemental materials, and last, I'll just leave you with, we get this experience, and then you can plug into place what feels good to you. One of the practices I've been in for a long time now, because I know it serves my vessel best, is something that I actually coined called intuitive fasting. And it's what's working for me right now. But again, this isn't about a plan. It's finding what rhythm and what is going to work for you, and then the nutrients to support that. So I recommend next steps are take the dosha quiz so that we can understand kind of what your body's constitution is, and then we can specifically target foods that are going to support your vessel in the highest vibrational light, and then perhaps foods that we can avoid, and then also tuning into the taste that you have in your mouth throughout the day. In general, there are very high frequency foods that all of us humans could incorporate into our nutrition. And again, just like everything is energy. So what are the foods that carry the highest frequency? And this isn't energy in terms of calories. This is literally like the highest vibrational light of foods. So I have a list of those foods, and incorporating those, I have a few recipes to share as well. And it's now just, how present can you become with what your body is asking for? Are you hungry? When are you hungry? Are you thirsty? What is the taste in your mouth? What are you craving? What is your soul attracted to? Get in the practice of this moment to moment. And when you start having anxiety about planning into the future, bring it back into the moment. What does my body require right now in this minute? If you notice that you're so busy and you forgot to eat, well, that's an opportunity to lean in and question, I wasn't even feeling hungry. Interesting. Why is that? I noticed that for myself, that when I'm in creative flow, I'm actually not requiring nutrients. I'm not requiring sustenance. And so I was intrigued by that. And that's why I came up with intuitive fasting, because it helped me understand that I actually require my body to be purely cleansed and clear and very light, like not in a digestive process, because I'm in creation and output mode. And so that allowed me to energetically, attune my day in a rhythm. So I know when I'm in creation, I'm doing creativity, and then I'm moving physically, and then I know, okay, this is the time of day where I'm going to require nutrients, which usually is after 4 o'clock. So between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock is when I am in receiving nutrient mode. and I then just purify and detox after that, and usually it's very light. It's tea, it's water, perhaps light snack. It's day to day, so it's not an exact science, but I just noticed that this is how my body operates best, and we will discover that for you. It is going to be based on what your body is. So that is the food alchemy. This is the foundation of everything nutritional that you'll ever do to support your vessel and being the absolute highest vibrational light, always having energy in a rockin' body of health. So it's coming into the attunement and the awareness. And you may experience some pain through this process, and that's completely normal. You're just becoming more connected to your body. You're embodying this. So it's going to you're going to feel things that perhaps you haven't felt before, and that's okay. Those are actually really, really helpful things. That's feedback for us. It's just possibilities, right? It's feedback for us to go, oh, okay, like this feels good. This doesn't feel so good. What do we get to do next? So take the dosha assessment so we know exactly, what your constitution is. And then we can formulate more specifically what is going to serve you best. And it gets to change. Your dosha likely won't change, but the way that you're supporting your dosha will. And it also gets to be seasonal, and it gets to be regional. So depending on the season, you're going to want to find foods that support you that are in season right now. Why? Because they're going to carry higher frequency. Same thing with a region. You live in a certain region, or you're traveling to a certain region. And then again, there's alchemy there. There's an alignment there. What's growing in this region is going to have a higher frequency. And you being from a certain region, you're going to want to seek out things from that region. Your cells are already aligned with it. And when you travel, you adapt to that very quickly. So you want to find what is the local culture, and what are they cooking, and what are they using. So that is Food Alchemy 101. We start here, and now we're going to go and customize it. But get into alignment by asking those questions.